Good evening, everyone. My name is Dwayne Kimball, owner and founder of KMD 89, VA Claims Consultant, Leave No Vet Behind. And I'm here. I have a special guest, actually a returning guest that did a live testimonial, I think about a week ago, Demetria. So good evening, Demetria. Thank you for joining us. You are the first live guest on the live stream. So all the subscribers out there, they're seeing you live. Okay. Um, so she wanted to come on and share some things with everyone, and we're going to be taking some questions. So we're going to have a fun, full packed hour. I'm going to keep it to an hour, so I may not get, excuse me, to everyone's questions, but I will do my best. Um, so just as I always start out, just as a quick disclaimer, this presentation is for educational, informational purposes only. It's not a guarantee uh, for benefits. Um, Also, I want to remind everyone I have my Veterans Roundtable coming up tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it'll be 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 2 p.m., 1 hour. I'm going to have a guest speaker, individual with 40, almost 40 years of VA claims experience. They are retired, and they are going to be talking about the protection rule. Can the VA go out if you're 100% permanent total? And you file a claim for something new? Can the VA, and will they go back and look at everything in the claim folder? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the 10-year, 20-year, and then we're going to get into if you have a service-connected condition and the percentage has been in effect less than 5 years, what can happen if you go to a CMP exam and shows improvement, and or that particular service-connected condition, that percentage is more than 5 years old, and how they look at that as well. Okay. And also, I'm moving my screen around. So, oh, wait a minute. Give me 1 second. I hope you guys can't hear that. But I wanted to share that this Thursday, I'm going to be feeding 20 families at one of my adopted schools. I talked about in some other live streams, the outreach community programs that I have going on. So I drug my wife out to the grocery store a couple of days ago, found some really good BOGO deals to put together baskets. I still have yet to get the turkey, so I'm going to wait till Saturday morning and go pick those up. The school identified 15. I said, hey, thanks to my subscribers that donates during these live streams, I'm able to add 5 more families to feed. So we're going to be passing those out 10 to noon on Saturday. I'm going to try to con my wife into going with me so she could take some really cool pictures and maybe shoot a couple of videos, and I'll turn it into a YouTube video and post it on Thanksgiving so everybody out there can watch. Okay. So again, this hour, I know it's going to go really quick. Okay. I always want to give a shout out to some people that we have in here. Who we got? MRC 2033. How you doing? We got Gun Guy. Okay. How we doing? Make sure we get those likes up. Hi, Dwayne. Thanks for your coaching session. Hey, not a problem, Michael Perry. Who else do we have here? Lonnie Brinson. Seems a lot of raters are incompetent or just do not know the regulations when rating higher level of SMC. Why does it take the BVA judge to clean it up? Okay, so before we get into that, I want to allow my guests 15, 20 minutes to talk about. We're going to talk about some news. I'll let her get into it. I don't want to steal her thunder. And then I hope she'd be so gracious to maybe take some questions, because what she's going to talk about, I went through it, but I went through it years ago. So the situation is a little bit different now. And I think it's a situation that a lot of veterans can learn from, because I've been getting a lot of questions about it. And now you have somebody here that went through it. I'm going to put her link to the live testimonial that she did. Okay, it was a couple of weeks ago. That video, it didn't get a lot of views. It's a lot of good information. She shared. I mean, you know what? I'm not going. I'm gonna let her explain to it. Okay, and then we got a little show and tell. So we'll do a little contest. See, take a little poll. We'll do a little show and tell and take a little poll. So Demetria, again, thank you. If you could tell all the subscribers out there which branch of service did you serve in?
So U.S. Army, 1996 through 2006, excuse me. I was a signal officer, and I'm a Gulf War veteran.
All right. Well, thank you for your service, and I'm pretty sure we'll get a lot of comments thanking you for your service as well. We had talked. You originally left a comment. Your previous client, attorney client, and you left a comment on one of my videos, and I just had to reach out. And I was like, "Hey, we got to get this," and you were so gracious to do so. And then we had another conversation the other day. I think we talked maybe about an hour on your drive. So if you could just, I'm gonna let you share what you feel like sharing. So I won't ask any details. It's surrounding the high level review, the informal conference, and then just walk us through a little bit about your journey. What did you do to be successful? If you could just share a little bit with our subscribers, I'll let you take it away.
Okay, yeah, well, it's a lot of packed questions because a lot's happened since I filed my claim, and it's over finally. My journey's over. I had done that other high-level review, so that was good. That was actually practice. The one that we had done the video on, it was practice, and while I did that, I was waiting for some contentions to be decided that I had filed back in August. So I was waiting for the decision. I eventually got the decision for those. I got service connected for one of them. Two of them, I think, were denied, and then the rest were deferred for further development. So I had 70%, and then I got 40 for the one I was service connected. So 70 plus 40 ended up being 83%. So now I was sitting at 80%, let's say, when we round. And I was waiting for everything else to be in deferment. So immediately I filed a high level review for that decision letter, because even though those items, those other contentions were in deferment, I have a right to high level review for the ones that were decided. For some reason, I couldn't do it on va.gov. When I went in, it was spinning, and wouldn't pull up that decision for me to file HLR, which is how I did my first one. I did it right online. So I did it the long way. I filled out the form. I express mailed it and requested an adult signature. And then I tracked it. I went to the intake center, and I called the call center 2 or 3 days later, and I said, "Did you receive it?" And the guy says, "Yeah, but the VA sent you a letter." I'm like, "Well, can you do me a favor and send me this letter, because it's going to take like 3 months for me to get this letter." And basically the letter said, "Hey, we received your request for a high level review, but we're still deciding other contentions in your claim." So basically the letter said they weren't going to give me the high level review. So immediately I sent a message to Iris, and I said, "You're denying me. This is a denial of due process, because in the decision letter you say I have these rights. I have the right to appeal. I have a right to high level review or supplemental claim." And I said, "You show me in the regulation where it says that I can't have a high level review, and concurrently you can continue to develop my claims that are in, or my contentions that are in deferral." So I sent that off to Iris, and then the next day I saw that they had filed as a claim a high level review with an effective date of 1 November. So it was in the queue. So then I knew when I saw that I would get a call at some point based on the last one. It would probably be 45 days. So I was expecting by mid-December to at least get a call for that high level review. So then I was still waiting for the other contentions to be decided. And during that process, I said, well, why don't I start organizing my evidence, because I want to be ready for my high-level review. I started preparing my script for what I was going to argue based on the decision letter I got. I wrote out the whole thing. I proofread it. I was going to go back and tweak it because I knew I had some time, but I wanted to organize all my information. All right. One thing I did from the time I filed to the present is I hustled. All right. You have to hustle with your claims. I went to my regional office multiple times, and requested, with a FOIA request, I listed all the DBQs I wanted, and they printed them out and they gave them to me. Now, be advised that not all regional offices will do that. It's really dependent on the person that's there. All right. But I was very fortunate because when I went, and I had a lot of contentions, I had a lot of CMP exams done. When I went, they printed not only the DBQs for me that were done, but also the medical opinions. All right. And both are important. You need all that information to argue in your high-level review at a minimum. If you can't get it this way, eventually you're going to have to get it through your claims file because it's going to all be in there. The DBQ is what gives you your rating, and the medical opinion is basically says if you're service connected or not. So you need both. All right. So I started organizing everything. All right.
Are we ready for show and tell? So this is what we're going to do, guys. She's going to show you something, and then I'm going to show you something, and then you can grade both of us.
So I went from everything being in this little folder, everything that the regional office had given me, and I ended up putting everything in here. And let me see if I can do this right. All right, there we go. So you can see that the first thing is decision letters. I have all my DBQs in there. The medical opinions are like in 9 and 10. So
is that your table of contents?
That is my table of contents. And then on the other side here, those are my private DBQs. So I had private ones done and I have them on this side, but everything the VA did, all the VA examiners did, were basically right there. Now, when I started putting this together, I remember from when I went in October, there was one medical opinion I didn't have. And I could tell by how the DBQ was filled out, how it was probably going to unfold, but I didn't have it and it bugged me. So I went to the regional office with another FOIA request, specifically requesting this medical opinion. It was for earaches because I wanted it, because when it was time for high-level review, I needed to know that basically says, yes, this is related to this disability or not. This is the DBQ is really like pointless if you don't know if you're going to be service connected or not. So I went back to the regional office with the FOIA request specifically for that item. You have to write medical opinion, DBQ medical opinion, write the name of the doctor that did it, write the date that it was done, because they look up stuff in BBMS by date. They want to know what date it was. That makes it easier for the regional office people processing your paperwork. So I went in there.
Demetria, let me break in right quick. We got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure we get this answered. Before we get to the question, yes, I do have the veteran roundtable tomorrow from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm dropping the link in the chat window. My assistant resigned, and I didn't get it up on the website for people to sign up. But the link, if you scroll down through the chat and you see me put a link in there, that's the link. We have 20 seats, and I'm going to have a guest speaker talking about the protection rules. So we got 57 people in there. So you might want to go and make sure you grab your seat. If I see before we log off that we got 20 people signed up, I will add some additional seats. You don't want to miss it. I will record it, and I'm going to share it as a YouTube video. Okay, so all the disclaimer about it being recorded, using your likeness. If you sign up, you're agreeing to that. Okay, but Demetria, somebody has a question.
I see it.
If you can see
Yeah.
your screen,
Okay.
how did you communicate to the regional office?
Okay, so basically, first of all, call the call center and make sure they're open. Most of them are, and they have weird hours. Like the one I went to, half the staff works 1 week and the other staff half teleworks. But it's manned. Okay, you go in there, the security people are there. Each regional office has a customer support office that you go in, and they're the ones that take your paperwork if you're dropping off stuff.
Public contact.
Yeah. So you can just go in, you go through security, and you do your COVID screening, and they'll call your name, and then you give them your FOIA request if you're requesting documents, which I was in my case.
So you didn't have to call ahead, get an appointment due to COVID. They were allowing you to walk right in, right?
Yeah, I walk in. Well, there's a COVID screening, and then I have to walk up and take my temperature, and then there's the guy that takes the COVID form and disappears. He logs it in, and then the guy that's behind the plexiglass calls me up. So that's basically how it goes. So this time, yesterday when I went, the guy that had previously printed everything for me, he wasn't there, so I was panicking because it's kind of person dependent. The other guy printed everything. He knew me. He was familiar with me. So I saw this other guy, and I'm like, well, I hope he prints this up because the medical opinion technically it's not internal. You're entitled to it, but you have to get it the long way. So if you can't get it from your regional office, what you're going to have to do immediately after it's that the VA has received it, even while your claim is in development, is you should request it through FOIA the long way, and you'll probably get it before your whole claim is decided. So then you'll have it, and then you can start preparing for your high-level review if you need to. So you can get it the long way, but this is like the shortcut if the regional office will give it to you, right? So that I'm saying if because I tried the same thing at Philly, all right? This is Newark, all right? And they're great, period, all right?
Newark, New Jersey, right?
Newark, New Jersey. Now, I had tried to do the same thing at Philly because I had a CMP exam there because I'm physically kind of close to both, all right? And when I went into Philly to ask for the same exact thing, they took my FOIA request, stamped it, gave it back to me, and they're like, thank you. I said, well, aren't you going to print these? And they said, no. And I argued with them, and they said, no, we can't per regulation. It has to go through the long way. And, well, that same day, I drove up to Newark, and I got everything. So, again, it's, if you can't get it from your regional office, do it the long way, but do it immediately after your CMP exam. Once you confirm from LHI or VES or the other one that they've sent it to the VA and the VA has it, all right, the VA is collecting evidence. So the VA has it and they can release it to you through the FOIA request. Get that FOIA request in, all right, because it's only one document or two or whatever it is, you may get it back quickly. It's not like a claims file that takes 5 months to get.
Yeah. Okay, Demetria, I'm going to go ahead, hold that thought. I'm going to take some questions right quick before we get ahead. And again, the Veteran Roundtable is tomorrow. I've been dropping the link here in the chat window. I'll do it again. We got 3 people signed up. We'll drop it in here right now for everyone to see. Okay, we got 7 people signed up. Okay, so we got some listeners out there paying attention. We're going to be talking about the protection rule. Can the VA, will raters look at, if you're 100% permanent total and you file something new, will they go back and look at everything else? I know there's a myth going around out there on YouTube, but we're going to get someone with 35 plus years experience with the VA to get those questions answered. Okay. And also, don't forget to talk about my outreach program. I'm thinking about, I got a video, the local news here in Tampa, Channel 10. I put the link early on up in the comment section here. But I'm looking at the video. I'm thinking about sharing it. So if you want to see it, it's about 2 minutes and 25 seconds there. They covered me about the work that I'm doing in the community with the 2 schools that I adopted in my upcoming event this weekend of Feeding the Family. So if you want to see it, I can share it. It's something that I hadn't really shared, and my PR guy was like, "Hey, this is something I think you ought to share." And it took us about a month going back and forth, and he twisted my arm. So if you want to see it, let me know. But it's just something I probably hadn't shared if no one ever came to my office. Probably something I hadn't shared in over 20 years. Okay. Well, not 20 years, about 15 years. So let's get into some questions. Lonnie Brinson said, it seems a lot of raters are incompetent or just do know the assume you're saying do not know the regulations when rating high level of SMC. Why does it take the BBA judge to clean it up? One thing that I've been seeing, Lonnie, even with DBQs, I talked about this in some of my videos, YouTube videos, when veterans have their own DBQs and they submit it to the VA, VSRs are still requesting it. And we've had some clients that had to go to a high level review and they end up winning because adjudicators are saying, I don't feel comfortable using your DBQ. Not that it's not completed correctly. They personally don't want to use it. And then the veteran has to go to a high level review and what, Demetria is, kind of sharing with you today and go through that whole informal claim process and they end up winning. So I'm seeing that a lot. Why that is, Lonnie, I don't know. Got Old Sergeant. Old Sergeant, if I show this video, you are going to be featured here in Tampa, just to give you a heads up. Because when they showed it, man, my wife was watching it. And I was like, oh, check out. There's a go Old Sergeant. So I hope you want to see it. Good to see you, Dwayne. Thanks for the time to educate us veterans. Not a problem. And it is my passion. Good evening, ladies and gents. Antoine Lewis, how we doing? I've been learning a lot from your videos. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification button so you can get notified when I upload videos and when I bring you live testimonials like what we're talking about tonight. And Demetria has another testimonial she did a couple of weeks before for us. Rakeem, hey, Dwayne, how we doing? Thank you, Wayne. All right. Tumaya, is honored to see you again. Thanks for the very important information. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, Gene. Okay, Gene and Old Sergeant. I'm going to put you two in charge. You're the sergeant at arms. We got 67 people. Make sure everyone hit those likes buttons. So it's up to Gene and Old Sergeant. I know you guys always come in here and support. I definitely appreciate it. So make sure you get a hold of people in this comments and get those likes up. Tom Patrick, my claim says collecting evidence. I still have one CMP exam. It's okay to send in more medical evidence. Just understand if you check the FTC box on the 526EZ, if you did a 526EZ, I did a video stating the difference between a fully developed claim and a standard claim. If you read pages 1 through 7, I want to say it's like 1 through 4, they give you they explain the difference between a fully developed claim and a standard claim. And if you submit a fully developed claim and you submit additional evidence, they tell you what they'll do. Basically, they'll remove you from the fully developed claim process, but you still have that data claim. And that's the date that they received your data claim, and they're supposed to work them in the order that the claim was received. But that's, I don't think that rule is really being followed. A lot of adjudicators have quotas to meet, so they're probably just grabbing claims. So don't be surprised you get that letter. Hey, you submitted additional evidence. You're removed from the fully developed claim process. It's not to get alarmed. They still have to rate your claim. Okay. It seems like a lot of raters. Okay, I read that one already. I had a bad CMP exam for nerve condition and decision already been made. I got underrated. Can I do a high level review to ask for a new CMP exam, or my only option is supplemental claim with new evidence? Okay. I did a video about supplemental claim. If you get service connected and you disagree, that's not a supplemental claim. A supplemental claim is when you were denied service connection, not denied the percentage that you think you should have gotten, but denied service connection. That's a supplemental claim. Now, If you want to do a high-level review, that is up to you, but still pay close attention to Demetria, because this is what she's talking about this evening. High-level review, informal conference, and what she did leading up to doing before she even did her high-level review. So if you could, Demetria, can you show that binder again? Okay, so that's her binder. Okay, and the show and tell we were talking about, this is my folder. Okay, and so if you're talking about, I had this when I did back when they called an appeal, and I took that in there with me. Now you can get all this on a CD. Okay, here it is. All right, you can get it on CD. So all that information in here is on a CD. And I am going to ask Demetria one question about this. I'll take a couple more questions, but I always challenge veterans to get a copy of your claims folder. Get a copy of your claims folder. Get a copy of your claims folder. Demetria said it earlier, FOIA request. FOIA request, FOIA request, FOIA request. I cannot tell you how many times I try to nail that home, okay? Because if you want to do a high-level review, do you think you can win without it? You possibly could, but, it may be a little bit harder, okay? Shepard Howard, hello, guys. 5 months waiting on C-File Bobby. It took them, I think, 11 months when I got mine. All right, love you too. They changed my supplemental claim to high-level review and awarded me my claim from 30 to 80%. Okay, there we go. Dub, is that dude? What do you think, Demetria? Dude.
Dude.
Pyramid general anxiety. Michael, I'm not really understanding that. But if you're mental is mental. So you're not going to get 30% for PTSD, 20% for depression, and 70% for anxiety. That would be pyramiding. Okay. If you claim depression, and let's say they granted you PTSD, it would read service connection for depression, and in parentheses, also claimed as PTSD and depression, anxiety, or something like that. Mental is mental.
Also, I want to add, when on the mental disorders, when they revised my my decision from the high-level review for the PTSD, they went and listed every single thing that resulted in the rating. So they actually pulled everything out of the DBQ and listed it. So things like anxiety, sleep disturbances, all those things are listed. So you can't go back and say, I have sleep issues now and they're secondary, because that is pyramiding. It's rating you. And the reason they list all those symptoms and all those things right out of your DBQ is so you can't go back and file for the same things, because you can't get rated for the same symptoms. All right, they rate for symptoms, not necessarily diagnosis.
Right. And you mentioned VBMS. The VBMSR is where they build that information. So when the exam comes back, the rater goes in the VBMSR, types in your social security number, hits enter, and then it brings up the general information, your service dates, if you have a POA, all that stuff. And then they go into building the actual rating decision. So it'll already be in there what you are claiming. You click PTSD in this instance, and then over here is the service connected, non-service connected, service connected, hit enter, and then it takes you to another screen, and you could select the body system, which will be mental. And under mental, there's diagnoses. They select the diagnosis from the DBQ, and then the next thing they do is select the occupational impairment. They select the occupational impairment, and then below that, there's a laundry list of symptoms, which Demetria stated, that are on that DBQ. And the adjudicator goes down and checks each one. Doop, 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 doop. And then they hit enter. And that's where the narrative is built. And then they have custom fields that they could just, little abbreviations they could click on, and it'll populate a sentence. Okay. So they're not actually typing, but sometimes at this point they can type in there if they want to. Once they hit enter, boom, that's done for the PTSD. They go back out to the main screen. Then they select the next condition. Back. Nope, not service connected. Collect not service connected. Hit enter, and it tells them it's a lot of generated text. And then they can go back and say, okay, you weren't treated in service. There's no reviews. SDR show you were not treated in service. Da da da. There's abbreviation for that. You click on it, and an audio populates, and that's the way they build that rating decision. So the symptoms that on that DBQ, they check in VBMSR, and that what populates, like Demetria said, in there. And yeah, you are correct. People will come back and they'll say, well, I want to claim insomnia secondary to depression. No, that, it's that would be pyramid. They can't break that out. Okay. So we're going to get back to Demetria. And the question I have, Demetria, and we talked about this before. When you filed your high level review and you had your informal conference and you went through it, you've already been through that process. If you didn't have your binder when you did the informal conference and when you were going to speak to the individuals at the regional office, what do you think your chances would have been if you didn't do any of that stuff? No binder, no nothing, just submitted an 0996 and just kind of winged it. What do you think the outcome would have been?
Well, this binder was in preparation for this decision that was just made. But previously it was it was just one contention, so I didn't need a binder, but you needed the claims file for sure, 100%, because there's things in there, everything that you filed for that claim is in there. And if you didn't get it from the regional office or you didn't get it through a FOIA request, the medical opinion is in there. You need that. You need that to argue your high level review. All right. And the DBQ, if you can't get it like through shortcuts. All right. There were also things in there that were helpful for me. Like I had said it in the previous video that we did, that I confirmed or verified for the high level reviewer that I know you have my evidence, but you didn't list it, because you're able to see when you get your claims file that what exactly is in there, because you could doubt yourself. You could say, well, maybe they didn't get it. Maybe they didn't receive this evidence. Maybe that's why they didn't consider it. But when you have your claims file, it's in there. It's undisputably in there. You can argue it. You don't want to be in a situation where you're arguing evidence that never made it in the claim.
Right. Because on that 0996, it states no new evidence can be submitted. They can be submitted, but it will not be taken into consideration. Only evidence that was in the file at the time the decision was made. So like Demetria is saying, once you get that folder, if you arguing something that's not in there, it's not going to be a factor when you're doing the informal conference, or if you're not. But if they're doing your high level review, and it's not in there, then it's like you just kind of blowing smoke at that point,
And another important document that's in there that you can't necessarily probably get from the regional office is how the VA requests those medical opinions. They could be worded wrong. I mean,
yeah.
They could be worded wrong, and you can argue that. You can say, well, that's not how I filed my claim. I didn't file for this to be service connected to that. And that could result in a wrong decision. So you want to reread how the VA requested the examiner to opine on their medical opinion. All that's going to be in there for every single contention that you file.
And that request that she's talking about is called a 2507 medical request. So you can see if you claim PTSD based on fear, and they say you're claiming PTSD based on uh, Vietnam, fear due to service in Vietnam, and you weren't born until 1980, and that examiner is thinking that you're a Vietnam vet and you're not, that could be an issue. Or they may say you may be claiming a back condition secondary to flat feet, and they're just saying you're claiming it due to service. And now this examiner is looking in your medical records to see if you were treated in service for a back condition. So that, yeah, I agree. That's a piece of valuable information, because something could be, they could have requested the incorrect opinion. They should have been requesting a secondary, and they requested it due to service or Gulf War presumptive or something like that. But it's a good thing that when you went through it, you looked for that and you saw it, you pointed it out, right?
Well, not only that, I actually happened to get my claims file before I had my CMP exams for this current, claim that was just decided. And what I found helpful is, it helped me to help the examiners to make that connection, because I was filing things like TMJ secondary, or secondary to PTSD, but that's via bruxism. But I was able to go in and explain to the dental examiner that the reason I have the TMJ is because of the bruxism, because of the PTSD. And then she asked for the psychologist letter that has all that, and I had that, and she service connected it, because no, TMJ isn't really related to PTSD, but I helped them connect the dots. So for me, it was helpful to see that it was requested that way, because the way I did this claim was kind of like the examiner had to be smart enough to connect the dots. All right. So it helped me go into my CMP exams a little better prepared.
Right. Okay, let's get back to a couple of questions. 4 claims of anxiety, migraine, psychosis. Anxiety came back at 70, migraines at 30. The other 2 is deferred. Should I wait till finalized before adding secondary? That would be up to you. You could, request, you could submit claims at any time, but one thing, like Demetria was saying earlier, don't be mistaken about coming back in and claiming something secondary that's a symptom of a diagnosis or something that you're already service connected for, because then they'll look at that as a claim for increase. Okay.
Can I add something on that one?
Yep.
If you have claims that are in deferral status and you submit a claim right now for secondaries for things you were just service connected for, I read this in the M21. It says that the VA will actually process those claims and develop them with what's already in the queue. They're not going to be decided later. So they're going to delay your deferred development and making a decision on that. I would wait, let them decide on the deferred contentions, and then file your secondaries. Don't complicate things, because you're kind of resetting the process again.
Yeah. See, Ada Wayne, I received 7% for PTSD rating recently, and I'm submitting a TBI claim and wanted to verify that I should be able to receive a rating as long as TBI symptoms are distinguishable from PTSD. Rakim, I would say look at the PTSD DBQ, because there's questions on there. It asks the examiner, does a veteran have a diagnosis of TBI, and can they differentiate the symptoms and the occupational impairment? And also for the TBI, don't forget to look at diagnostic code 8045 and understand what the facets are. Okay. It's about, I got it over here on the floor, about 2 or 3 pages long. Just look at it and familiarize yourself with it. Okay. Because that way, so if and when you get to the exam, you know how to reasonably articulate your symptomology. Okay, Demetria, this is for you. Congratulations on your claim. That's for you.
Well, they didn't hear part 2, because we haven't.
Say again.
I said they didn't hear part 2 on the rest of the deferred decisions. We never We never got to that.
What? Oh, on yours? Yeah.
Yeah.
On yours? Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I'll make sure we get to it.
We can, yeah, later.
If I could give 2 likes up, I will. I appreciate it. Come on, folks, hit the likes up. The advice Dwayne gives us is priceless. Thank you, Gene. I got Gene and old Sergeant up there. They're like those drill sergeants in the back. On your feet. Do they pyramid PTSD when they, with generalized disorder, or are they separate? No, they're combined. If they broke each one out, that would be pyramided. And also, when you go to the 38 CFR and you get to the, I think it's part C, which the rating schedule is in, you'll see the rating schedule. And just before that, there may be 4 or 5 38 CFRs, but the one right above the rating schedule, it'll tell you that part where raters go to and read. It'll say, especially, I'm thinking of the respiratory. It'll say, do not combine the following diagnostic codes. Rate the one with the highest evaluation. So that's letting them know, do not pyramid these. Do not break these out. Okay. So as veterans, we can go and do our research and look there. It's 38 CFR, I think it's in subpart C, I believe, but it's right above the rating schedule. So if you see one musculoskeletal rating schedule right above that, you click that 38 CFR, and that's the way it is for each body system. I wish I had it up and I could share my screen and show it to you so you could see what I'm talking about. Okay, this is the link for, I see people are signing up. This is the link for the Veterans Roundtable. Tomorrow, again, guest speaker, we're going to be talking about, she doesn't like for me to call it protection rule, but she's not on here tonight, so I'm going to do it anyway. But a lot of people have questions about that. Okay. Oh, sorry, everyone, let's get these likes up to help Dwayne with the video. Appreciate it, sir. Michael, I am 70% PTSD. Congratulations on your claim. The Android phone viewing live. Don't see option to like live video. I have an Android phone, but I never watched the video, so I'm not able to help you out on that one. MRC, yes, roundtable tomorrow. And I think, yeah, Demetria, you already answered this one about communicating with the regional office. And you had experience with 2 regional offices. Which one do you say probably had the best public contact office that you went in, Newark or Philly?
Newark. I would avoid Philly. I think, it's like Philly's state of the art. They have it's brand new with this gated area, these rent cops. It all nice carpeted inside, but customer support and service is 0. And I told the lady, supervisor came out, we had it out, and I told her, you know what, you're the reason the VA has a bad reputation. And she says, well, I apologize. I said, you know what, don't apologize. You need to just do your job.
Right.
I left.
Right.
I drove my butt all the way up to Newark from Philly, and I got everything I needed. So yeah, big thumbs up to Newark. Excellent customer support.
How far is that drive from Philly to Newark?
Oh, it took me like probably an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
I was driving.
But, well, see, that just shows how determined you were. Because most veterans probably wouldn't have done it. They probably would have just threw in the towel. But you were like, hey, I got to get this done. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it done. You know what I mean?
You got to hustle, all right? I mean, don't get dunked on from the VA. You got to see what's coming, and you got to hustle, and you got to be one step ahead of the power curve.
Right.
Otherwise you're just leaving money on the table.
There you go. Ronald White finally got 100% TDIU after 5 denial letter and 5 CMP exams. It took 3 years. Ronald, I know what you feel. It took me 4 years, and I was rating at the time. Yeah, go figure, right? I still have some back issues, very frustrated. It definitely is. A lot of us can definitely relate to that. Big thank you to Wayne about requesting his claims file. Did it last week. Okay. Nice, Ronald. Similar organization of my claim. 59 likes. Okay, nice. Plus, They changed my supplemental claim. How favorite decision for increase 30 to 80? Is that normal? Yeah, I don't think they can just change it from supplemental to high level review. That doesn't make sense. I would have to see more to see what happened there. But again, how do you tell what they did? This right here. That's how you tell. It's all in there. Okay. Thanks to Wayne, finally got my claims file. Okay, there you go. Steven, have you looked at it? What's in there? Go Mob Frat, how we doing? I appreciate it. This is when I say Go Mob, people may not know what that means, but this sign back here, if you could see it, is my fraternity from college. And this gentleman, we're in the same fraternity. Never met him. He supports my channel in every live stream, every Wednesday that he's on. He always donates. So I definitely appreciate it. Supporting me, supporting the Blue and White family, Go Mob, and supporting vets and supporting my outreach program. Thank you. Say 6 months. Man, it took you 6 months for that claims file. Plexiglass is expensive during COVID. Well, man, the government will spend some money on something. They say pussy glasses. There's the link for the veteran roundtable. Great talk. Briefly explain SMC housebound. Okay, I'm gonna do a real quick, Tom. Okay, but I did a video on SMCK, SMCS, and SMCL. Make sure you go check it out. But SMCS, you can get it for two ways: being actual housebound, and the second one is scheduler, meaning if you have one condition rated at 100%, and then you have other service-connected conditions totaling 60% or more, then they have to grant you housebound. In that situation, it doesn't mean you're housebound or you can't leave the house or anything like that. It's you've met the scheduler criteria. Okay. If you are IU, okay, if you're IU, and let's say you have trying to think, one condition that they granted PTSD 70%, and they granted you IU due to PTSD at 70%. You got sleep apnea at 50 and tinnitus at 10. If PTSD is the only issue that they use to grant the IU, they can use that as a single 100%, because IU, they have to pay you the 100%, and they can use those other conditions, even though those other two doesn't total a combined 100, they're 60%, and they have to give you SMCS in that situation. So that's just a brief, quick overview, but I did a video on it, Tom, so make sure you go check it out. Need to cover you more. Share on Facebook too. I do. I have a veterans Facebook group. It's a VA Disability Service Connection. VA Disability Service Connection. There you see more posts that you don't see here on YouTube. I do. I'm a social media manager. She posts a lot on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. But more so, a lot of veterans, we can interact there. People have questions. And if I don't see the question, somebody else will come in and chime in and ask a question. So I'm trying to build that following up. But I am on Facebook. You can follow me. You can type in my business name. I have a Facebook business page and a Facebook veterans group, which is VA Service Connection Disability. Okay. Yep, Bobby 69. If you all want to see this video, I have it running over here and it keeps just running over and over. Let me know. I'll go ahead and share it. Give me 1 sec here. Take one more question. If I'm going for a higher percentage for my compensation, what else should I submit besides my DBQ, medical records, and my law? It's going to depend on what you're claiming. The DBQ, that condition you're claiming, where does it fall under the 5 ways of service connection? Do you need a nexus statement? Do you know what goes into a nexus statement? Do you know what makes a nexus statement actionable and sufficient? Medical records, that would be up to you. Your log, pending, if it's a migraine log or something like that. But tell people this. Remember, these VA employees are on quotas. They are on quotas. If you were to submit, now I didn't submit all this paperwork at one time. I didn't, no. But if you were to submit all this at one time, I guarantee you, your claim, if I was still rating, it's one of those last minute, hoping that my supervisor pull it and give it to somebody else, because you're on that quota and you got to get through this stuff quick, and they keep raising that quota for these employees. So just keep that in mind, and then, do your part not to overload the system. So part of that is being educated, okay? But it's up to you to figure out how much evidence you want to submit, okay? For me, I don't know about you, Demetria. Did you submit a lot of evidence at one time when you were doing, going throughout this claim process?
Well, this one, yeah, it was like 9 contentions, a lot, but I had it organized in a way where, you got to organize everything. So I basically had 3 sets of contention, if you will, contentions with secondaries, right? So I said, I used Adobe, and this is where it would be helpful for you guys. You don't have to pay for Adobe software. It's a subscription. You can pay monthly and then cancel it. Use it to organize your all your medical records and all your documents that you're going to submit. Don't submit all these PDFs to the VA. They don't know how to, interpret that. What you need to do is, like what I did is I said, this is medical evidence in support of cranial neuropathy increase with these 3 contentions as secondaries. And then I actually had 4 years worth of evidence for that. I did a spreadsheet of every practitioner I went to over a period of 4 years, what their specialty was, when they treated me, how they treated me, what meds I took, supplements, whatever it was, whether they were VA or private. And then I somehow organized it in a way that I just didn't dump 4 years worth of medical evidence in a PDF file. I showed which practitioner it was associated with. So kind of organize everything that's associated with one contention in one PDF and give it a nice little header, all right? And if you're going to submit a lay set statement, that's different. Then you do your lay statement, but don't commingle it with your medical evidence. Your medical evidence should be in one PDF with any records you have. If you're going to have private DBQ, put that in there. If you're going to have a Nexus letter or an IMO, throw that in there too. All together, nice in a little bundle for the VA. And it helps them keep everything straight, so they're not sitting there trying to figure out what evidence is associated with what contention. I had 7 or 9 contentions. I don't remember offhand, but it was a lot. So you can't just dump everything in online and expect them to organize it.
Right.
Make it easy
right.
for them.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Now, here is my service treatment records. That's all I have, right? So I didn't go sick a lot, but it was enough. And here is, I just thought about this when Demetria was talking. This is a packet that I got from a doctor in Boone Hospital Center in Columbia, Missouri, where I used to live, okay? So when I got this, I went out and got it myself. So it's to Gene's question here. I'm going to get to that in a minute, Gene. So this is all that they sent. A lot of veterans will just take this and say, oh, I'm going to submit this with my claim. I went through, right? And I pulled out stuff from here that I wanted to submit. So it was like 2 or 3 pages. I didn't send in all this stuff, okay? And I did that for all my private medical records. That's something that I did. But keep in mind, it's up to you. I didn't want to overload those people. Here's another packet that I got, okay? I went out and got this myself. I didn't ask the VA to go get it. So, Gene, your question, do you have to sign a release of medical records for VA medical records to the claims folks? No, because they have access. It's called Capri. They have access to your medical records, your progress notes from off the VA hospital side, okay? Now, if You went to a vet center, then yes. Okay, unless something changed, a vet center. But if I think in 2005, they made those records electronic at the VA hospital. So if you're trying to go back beyond 2005, the the VBA internally will send that request over to the hospital and say, hey, veteran reported that they had treatment at your facility in 1985. Our records only go back to 2006. Please send us a copy of all those records. And that could take some time because the people that work in release of information, it's not that many. They're low GS levels, and it's no rush on those requests. Okay.
So,
So
Dwayne, real quickly on this, when you file online, you get to after you put in all your claims, you get to a screen where it says, do you want the VA to go get your records from any of VA medical centers? You say yes. And then they say list the VAMC. So you list the VAMC and the dates. So that's technically your signature for
your
release.
request. Yeah.
You're doing it online, and they actually get them really quick. Because when I got my claims file was dated 6 days after I filed my claim. I filed my claim August 5th. When I received it, I didn't get it till September, but it was dated for August 11th. And those VA records were already in there that they were asked to go get. I think they can get them in 24 hours.
Yeah. I never filled that out. I always left it blank because if a lot of times raters, even if it comes back and it's a grant, they can go ahead and grant it. Sometimes some raters won't do it. They're like, oh, still don't have this information. It's just going to depend on who's looking at your claim. Okay. But I never did. I didn't have a reason to because I didn't have any progress notes at the time. But even afterwards, when I did, I would go to release of information at that time and get a copy myself. And I kind of knew what I was getting treatment for. So it really wasn't a big deal. So Gene said, Gene, no is the answer. Take a couple more questions, not for the VA medical records. Yep. For me, I had two for the VA medical to release to VA compensation. Not understanding that one. Tom says, Tom Marine Vet VBA can get them anytime. That is correct. Agreed. Thought they said they needed the forms to release should be easier since they are the VA. And again, now keep in mind, if private physicians is different process. You fill out the medical release, you send it back. They send the letter to you, the medical release, that's 30 days. Send it back. They may get to it in 45 days. Then they got to send it to the doctor. That's going to take 30 days. Then they may wait 45, an extra 2 weeks. Oh, well, we got to go to this other doctor. Send a letter to that doctor. That's another 30 days. Then that doctor doesn't respond. By the time they get it, you're at the 45-day mark. Then they're going to send you a letter. And guess what they're going to say in that letter? It is your ultimate responsibility. This doctor didn't call us or send us anything. It's your responsibility. Okay? So in that case, that's why I went out and I got my own records from private doctors. Okay? So real quick, I'm going to share this video and we're going to get into some more questions. And then I'm going to give Demetria, we're going to go over, but then I'm going to give Demetria a chance to, I'm just kind of scroll down to see if anybody had any questions for, but then for her just to take us out with some positive tips on this VA claims process. So give me a minute. I'm going to try and share my video. Let's see if I can do it. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, Demetria, can you see that my screen?
I see it. Yeah.
Okay. Can you still see it?
Yes.
Okay, let me know if you can hear this. Can you still hear it?
No, can't hear it, but we can see it. No volume.
So no volume?
No.
Oh man. Okay, hold on.
Is it muted?
No, I was having trouble with it earlier. Okay, so it is all the way up.
Try playing it. Turn it up on your computer if you can.
Yeah, I got it all the way up on my end. I don't know. Let me see something. My audio. Oh, I know what it is. If it's not coming through my headsets. So let me try something. I'm gonna try something. This is gonna be really bootleg, but let me know if you can hear it. Or just give me a thumbs up, okay? Because I won't be able to hear it.
Pockets to make sure that their students had all the supplies that they need.
He was even more upset to find out that teachers were really going without too. 10 Tampa Bay reporter Bobby Lewis is on the road in Ybor City with a veteran who has adopted 2 local schools and vows to give them the things he didn't have when he was growing up.
You're trained to run towards danger, not run away from it.
True heroes rarely brag, and Dwayne Kimball is a true hero.
When I saw the smoke and their mom informed me that they were still inside, I just reacted.
It wasn't easy getting the Army veteran to share the story of how he saved 2 children from a fire in Germany in 1991.
And my grandmother came in my room early one Saturday morning. She was like, "Hey, they're running. And I saw these guys in combat boots and fatigues and the brown t-shirt. And I was like, man, that is so cool. About a year later, I was doing that.
Humble beginnings in Missouri shaped him. The Army reinforced his others-focused upbringing.
And I thought that, hey, I want to serve my country, and how can I do it?
3 years ago, Dwayne started KMD 89, a consulting company to help service members navigate the VA claims process.
We could all share from each other and educate one another.
He's taken to YouTube to raise donations for community outreach, which allowed him the chance to adopt 2 local schools.
In August of this year, a middle school in Sefton, Florida, Jennings Middle School, and a high school in St. Petersburg, Gibbs High School. I knew what I wanted to provide, but we reached out to the principals and asked, what do you need?
Jennings needed school supplies, a refrigerator, and microwave. Kimball made it happen.
Teachers were coming out of pocket for certain school supplies.
From saving kids abroad to serving kids in his new home, this veteran has a heart for those in need.
One thing you learn in the military is you leave no soldier behind. In our community, I don't want to leave any other family behind. I don't want to leave any other student behind.
Boy, yeah, I don't think a lot of us really appreciate too how much teachers have to give out of their own.
Oh, a lot more than we really understand and know.
No doubt, yeah. So Dwayne's next focus is now going to be putting together food donations.
Yeah, he's not done. So he hopes to provide Thanksgiving dinner for 15 families of middle school students.
Okay, did that play pretty good?
Yeah, well done. Mm-hmm.
I had to get bootleg because.
Oh, wait. Lima Charlie.
Okay, because I saw people they were saying it. So, like I said earlier, that's something that I hadn't shared with individuals in years. My PR guy was like, "Hey, share this story," and I was like, "No." We went back for like a month, and I finally agreed. But I just wanted to share with people that give super stickers. We do go out and we do stuff in the community. We provide things for these schools. And in the past, I think I showed last month the pictures of donating refrigerators that from Home Depot, washers and dryers from a local appliance store named Famous Tate. Ace Hardware gave, I think, 700 masks. Walmart, $250 gift card. Office Depot let us purchase, I want to say it was about It was over a couple of grand in school supplies, but they let us use the school's tax credit where we didn't have to pay any taxes. And they gave us like 85, 90% off the goods. So we ended up spending maybe like a few $100, and I just put it all in the back of my truck and took it over to the school. And those were some of the pictures that was in that piece. And it's also on our website. So make sure you go to my website, kmd89.com, Kilo Mac Delta 89.com, and you'll see more updates. So this weekend when we feed these families, hopefully my wife shows up so she can take some pictures. Okay. So we're going to get ready to wrap this up. But I want to go through the bottom of the questions. But before I do that, I want to give a shout out to this person. Thanks for the donation. I really, really appreciate it. And again, these donations, even our revenue from our YouTube channel, this is what we do in the community. All that goes to, if we don't get people to donate, like I couldn't find anybody to say, hey, come buy 15 turkeys and I'll, give you like 20% off. They didn't want to do that. So I'm like, Saturday morning, I'm just going to go get up and go and try and find 20 10-pound turkeys and pass them out. Okay. But these donations that you all give on the live streams and the revenue help to do that. Okay. So we definitely really appreciate it. And I know the families will appreciate it as well. Gene, definitely appreciate it, sir. You're always avid supporter of mine. You've been in I know you're going to be in the roundtable tomorrow. You were in it last month. You're always on the live streams. So I really appreciate the support. Inspirational story. Thank you, Brenda Hull. God bless you each and every day. I really appreciate it. It's all about giving back. That is great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yolanda. I'm going backwards, Yolanda. Okay, here we go. Can scoliosis and reversal cervical spine be service connected? Yes, but it has to fall under one of the 5 ways of service connection. So you're saying diagnosed in service. So that means you will be possibly claiming that as direct service connection. How, Dwayne, can I submit new medical evidence? I'm sure that's what it is. Related info without being kicked out of FTC status. You want to take that one, Demetria? I see you looking at it.
Well, I did that, and then when I got my decision letter, it said that we took you out of FTC because you submitted new evidence. So they're going to kick you out.
Yep, there you go. So yeah, I appreciate the feedback. I had to literally take my headphones off and sit them on top of the mic, but we worked through it. As I'm pretty sure Gene Ranger would say, Army, Demetria, you adapt and overcome, right? Hey, Dwayne, thank you so much for all you're doing. I have a special place in my heart for Sigmas. My mom is a Zeta. All right, till I said Z5. Dwayne, they have asked 5 times now for me to send my VA medical records. Let's talk about that tomorrow, Gene. I'm going to log in, try to get in like 15 minutes early into the Zoom meeting. So if you are going to attend, shoot me that question and let's talk to it, because I need to understand when you say VA medical records. I'm assuming that they're progress reports. And if the VA is asking you for them, they shouldn't, because they should have access because they're federal records. Okay. Family man, Inglewood. I have SMCS. I have one at 100%, rest at 70%. So then that's one of the criteria for SMCS. Dwayne, cover the barcode when you show envelope. It has your information. Okay. Well, here it doesn't. It's just a barcode, and I got my address blacked out. And this is the regional office information here. But I have my address blacked out. But I'm pretty sure somebody else, are you saying somebody could get that barcode and look at it? They can have, okay, I got you. Do you know what it means when your claim is in the preparation for a decision? They're preparing it to make a decision. I never put too much weight in looking at that in line, because that could change. That could go back to development phase or something. You know, if you submit some additional evidence or 41, 42, and they got to go out and get some records, that could kick it back to, you know, to the development stage. Took me 7 months to get my claims file. Got 80 likes. Appreciate it, everybody. I've already had my claims file. I had 2 CMP exams. After I got it, I ordered another claims file for everything, or just, I'll let you take that one, Demetria. I see you shaking your head.
Yeah, well, you should wait till the decision's done so you have everything, like, to include the decision letter in there. But you should actually ask for your claims file as soon as you file the decision, because it's going to take 5 months anyway. So by the time they send it to you, all your claims are probably going to have been decided, and you'll have all that stuff current. So, you know, this is where you hustle, be a little bit proactive, and get it in the queue ahead of time.
Right. There you go. Oh, music playing in the background. Sarn, did you see your name come up? And they had it in the special. I hope he caught it. Let me know if you caught it. I submitted a claim for sciatica secondary to back with private medical opinion. DBQ CMP examiner gave me negative opinion. VA sent it back to LHI asking for medical opinion. What's VA doing? You know, that's one thing I stopped doing when I started using DBQs. For me, I said, I'm never going to another CMP exam again. And I talked about them before. I had 4, 2 of them were horrible, and 2 of them went really well. And I regained control by doing that. Now, I did a video on this saying, can you refuse a CMP exam? People ask me all the time, should I go? Should I go? I'm not going to advise you to go or not go. I will give you some scenarios about if you have an actionable DBQ and nexus statement of what can happen if you go and what it can happen if you don't go. And I even share what I did and what actually happened. Now, it could be different for your claim. So at the end of the day, it's about being educated. The DBQ, nexus statement, whatever, is it actionable? Can they use it? And then you have to make that decision if they still schedule the exam, which I stated earlier, they have been doing for some reason, and I don't know why. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, but I want to give Demetria a couple of minutes. There you go, Gene. Sign up for Roundtable. We still have some seats available. I'm really going to be pushing this tomorrow. Tonight on some of my social media. We got about 8 seats left. But I'm going to go ahead and let Demetria have the last word. We didn't get all the questions. I got one question here I do want to answer after she finish up. So go ahead, Demetria. What do you, your final words, thoughts about the VA claims process? And I would say just give the subscribers or the viewers a couple of key tips that you did to help you be successful in maximizing your benefits.
Well, one was the organization, where you talked about that in your other video. You know, get yourself organized, however it is, a binder, whatever is going to work for you. But also in submitting that claim, you know, make it logical for the VA to follow when you submit the claim. You know, put a cover letter on what the evidence is, so they know what contentions your evidence is associated with. And that will make it easier for them to make a decision. And hustle. All right. I want to draw an analogy on this. I started watching NBA over the summer because my kids got into it because of the Milwaukee Bucks. And I don't know that much about basketball, but there was some big play in, I think, the second or third game of the playoffs where Giannis Antetokounmpo blocked this pass, and it was all over, you know, the sports news media that this was, you know, this made, you know, NBA history, because without that they would have been out of the playoffs. And you know, he said, you know what, he didn't see it like a big deal. When he was interviewed, he said, I just saw it coming and it was a hustle for me. That's all it was. So, he said, I didn't want to get dunked on. So don't let the VA dunk you.
Right.
Seriously, I mean, I saw a lot of things coming because I was getting my evidence as things were coming in. For the claims that were in deferment, they sent my DBQs to get a medical, to get a records review. I didn't have to go back. They wanted additional medical evidence. I went back. I knew those were completed, but I wanted to know what was in them. All right. So I went to the regional office last week and I picked them up. All right. This is all hustling and it takes time. I mean, for me, it takes me over an hour to get to Newark. All right. And this week, I was preparing this binder actually 2 days ago, and I knew I needed that one medical opinion that never was printed up. And so when I went to the regional office, I was just expecting to pick up that medical opinion, and the guy that was there behind the plexiglass saw the binder, saw that, and he says, so what do you need this for? I said, well, I'm preparing for a high-level review, and I just want to have all my evidence ready. And as you can see, you guys printed these before, so I just need this. And he says, well, what percentage are you at right now? I said, well, I'm at 80. And he says, well, do you think that you're entitled to more? And I said, well, yeah. He says, well, how much more? I said, well, I'm waiting for a decision. I know it's forthcoming because I can see in va.gov, it says preparing for decision. Any day I should be receiving a decision, so I'm waiting for it. And then I'll make a determination on what I think my percentage should be and what I need to argue. But I'm anticipating getting lowball. I went on and on and on, all right, about how I think the VA was going to lowball me and I'd have to argue everything in a high-level review. And he says, ma'am, you need to calm down. I said, why? He says, because I'm looking at your decision letter right now. This was yesterday. He says, I'm looking at your decision letter. And I said, shut up. And he says, calm down. I said, why? He says, because you are 100%. I just froze. I didn't know how to process this. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting him to print me out this letter. I got very emotional. He got emotional with me. I said, is it permanent in total? Because that's what matters. All right. And he said, let me look. He looked at the narrative. He saw that was chapter 35 in there. He says, it's permanent in total. He got emotional with me. I got emotional. And I said, can you print me the decision letter? He says, I can't because it's dated for tomorrow, like it was dated for today. So I knew yesterday. And actually, I could see it online. I could see it on the app. The VA has an app, by the way. Use it. It's a lot easier than going in the long way. I could see all the ratings, everything. I could even generate the letter that said I'm P&T and what my compensation is going to be. But they couldn't print me that letter because he says if something changes, I have liability there. He says, come back tomorrow. I'll print you the decision letter. I have to give you a letter with a raised seal so you can get your tax exemption for New Jersey. You need that letter. You can't just give them like a decision letter or a form letter from va.gov in the state of New Jersey. And then he says, just come back tomorrow. Everything's going to be okay. So I went and I picked up some cookies and some muffins and a jug of coffee at Starbucks. And I walked in and they're like, and I had to push all this through the security belt and the security guards were helping me. I'm like, what, the coffee has to go in too? So I went in there with all this stuff and they said, what's this? I said, it's Christmas in November. And the guy that takes the COVID form that disappears actually got a smile out of him because he's so stoic. So they shared in my happiness. I didn't expect this. I really was prepared to fight. I was preparing a binder. It's moot now. The high-level review is still in the queue. I'm not sure if I'm going to cancel it or keep it. I may just, I'll wait. But it's over for me. I mean, my journey is over. I'm 100% P&T. And so I didn't expect this outcome. this soon, you know, and so this is very significant for me. And it was just, you know, it was very surprising and it was very emotional. And I wish everybody, you know, to learn from Dwayne's videos and everything that he puts out and all this educational content that he's giving and even his testimonials, and everybody get the same outcome.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know, thank you for sharing. I want to take one question and we'll recognize someone that just gave a super sticker. Carmen says, greetings. Can the VA ever take away benefits when a veteran is P&T? Thank you for taking my question. Carmen, please join in tomorrow on the Veterans Roundtable tomorrow. This is something that we are going to be discussing. That's the only topic. And we're all going to be on Zoom. We're going to be sharing our video. So if you can, please, because it's going to be very detailed tomorrow. So I put the link in the comment section. If you just scroll up and down, you should see it. I wanted to say thank you to Yolanda for the donation. I really appreciate it. Freddie Garcia, thank you, brother, for all you do. Thank you for the donation. And also, and there's one for you, Demetria, from Gene. He's an Army guy. He's Gene, don't get upset. He's a sergeant major.
Thanks,
He told me he's a
Gene.
person. I know he's gonna kill me. We'll just say sergeant major. He's an old Ranger, sergeant major, lives here in the state of Florida, I believe. And he's a big supporter. But I'm going to okay, say see the link. Okay. Thank you both for information. Also hard. I'm gonna share this link, guys. I'm not going to share the video, but I want you to watch this video. I just put it in the last one here in the comment box.
Brenda had a question I wanted to answer.
Who is that?
Brenda has a question I wanted to answer.
Okay. Okay,
So
I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up right in a sec after this. But I saw this video. I want you to go out and look at this video. And it came up on my timeline. And there's another YouTuber out there. She's interviewed me, and I shared it to her. She worked on the healthcare side for a few years, and she does a lot. Vanessa Leck? She does a lot of videos on the VHA side. Channel doesn't get a lot of views like I think it should, but I saw this and I immediately thought of her because she worked on the VHA side at one point. And when I sent it to her on LinkedIn, she says, yes, I'm going to follow up and do a video. Her and her husband, she said her and her husband watched the video. This is a Vietnam vet, a retired, I think, Homeland Security or Border Patrol agent. And I wanted to share that because I want everyone to see what the VA police did to this vet when he was going into the VA hospital. And they messed his arm up really bad. Apparently, from the video, for no apparent reason. So I want to share that. It's at the El Paso, Texas VA regional office. I don't know if it was the regional office or outpatient clinic, but check it out. I'll put it in there again. I really don't share other videos on YouTube like this, but I want everybody to take a look at it. And if you're in the Veterans Roundtable, we'll take a couple of minutes and talk about it. But it just really hurt me what I saw, what they did to this veteran. It was just horrific. And he wasn't acting erratically. He didn't pose a threat. He did nothing. And they hurt him. They put him in really bad shape. But anyway, don't forget the Veterans Roundtable tomorrow, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. The event is free. Okay. Thank everyone again for the super stickers. And I am going to go back and try and find that question for you.
Brenda
You're-
Susan,
Uh,
851. I don't know how you see it on your screen.
yeah. But it was Brenda, right?
Brenda Stinson, yeah.
Well, I know it was past that. Let's see.
I'm looking from the bottom up.
It's a racial story, very nice.
It would be at the, where did it go? She starts, so you are saying that the decision letter.
Yep,
There we
that
go.
one.
All right. And this is, okay, so I've seen this like in other like testimonials or informational videos about where does it say you're permanent and total on these decision letters. It's not clear. They're not going to come out and say you're permanent and total, but there are indications that you have it because of certain benefits that you're going to receive. And one of them is Chapter 35. So there is a paragraph in here that says eligibility to dependents educational assistance under 38 USC Chapter 35. And then it describes what that is. And then right after that, it says basic eligibility for dependents educational assistance is granted as the evidence shows you currently have a total service connected disability permanent in nature. So that's kind of the language that indicates that you're permanent and total. But then when I went and got my letter with the raised seal for the tax exemption, it says, this is to certify that the records of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs disclose that your wartime service connected disability is totally disabling. A 100% permanent and total evaluation was assigned effective February 22, 2021 in accordance with the Veterans Affairs rating schedule and not so evaluated because of hospitalization or surgery and recuperation. So the other way for you to know is like yesterday, even though they couldn't print me the decision letter, I was able to generate the form letter that said I was permanent and total. So you can go in and self-generate that form letter, and it you'll be able to see it on there for sure. Because that will give you all your it'll give you your monetary benefit and things like that. But Chapter 35 is another one. The call center, you can call them too and ask them to confirm it. They know how to interpret these decision letters and they can confirm for you. Because what I did is I thought I was still dreaming and I was waiting to be pinched. So when I came back, I called the call center and I said, can you confirm for me that there's a decision letter that's supposed to come out tomorrow? And the guy says, unofficially, I can confirm it for you, but I can't send it to you. I said, is it for 100%? He said, yes. I said, is it permanent and total? He said, let me take a look. He looked at the Chapter 35 language and he said, I see Chapter 35 benefits, which translates into permanent and total. So that was confirmed, because you always have a little doubt with these things, but you can ask the call center. They do know how to interpret these.
Right. And I did a YouTube video on, I think it's called last year, how to read a rating decision. And I may put it on a Throwback Thursday video, but I actually took the excerpt that you were talking about from the rating decision so people could see under the reasons for decision what it looks like. Chapter 35, and yeah, that does translate over. I want to take one last question. It says, what is the app that the VA has?
It's
Do you have that?
yeah, it's a VA app. It's
Is it
very
in
easy and it gives you,
is it in the Play Store
I
or
love this thing. Can you guys, it's really hard to see, I guess. But there,
yeah.
this is what you can see. And actually, when you go down to your profile, you can pull up all your service connected disabilities and it'll list them all. But it'll show you claims and appeals. I don't know if you can see that with the screen, but
Yeah.
my high level reviews in there, my claim is still open because the one contention, the one that I don't have a medical opinion for, the guy never could find it. It's deferred because there wasn't a medical opinion. She never did one. All right, the nurse practitioner, the VA examiner. So it doesn't matter now, but they have to decide on it because it's still, it's like an open claim. But the app is just so much easier because once you authenticate yourself with Face ID, you don't have to go through and do that ID.me PIN and all that stuff that you have to do the long way. Get the app. It's great.
So where did you get the app from? The Play Store or?
Yeah, actually, I think when I was on va.gov, the website, it said download our app, something like that.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
that's where I got it from.
Okay. So yeah, just go out to va.gov and look for that where it says download the app. And that's cool because I when I go in to do research and e-benefits and stuff and I generate a letter for certification that I was doing last week. And
Right?
is it the red one? Is it?
No, no. Sorry.
I can see
the
it.
VA? You see the VA at the bottom?
Oh yeah.
At the
So
bottom.
hold on. Let's try and pull that up in the App Store. Let's see. VA app. Let's
Here,
try
it's a little bit
department.
more clear on my screen.
Yeah, I can see it. I'm gonna try and pull it up in the App Store.
And do the Face ID thing because that's how you log in. I mean, for me, that's the
Yep.
easiest thing.
It's an app in the Play Store, so check it out. Let me know if you see it. I went.
That's it.
You see the one at
That's
the
it.
top.
That's it.
You see the one. Yeah. So if you go to your Play Store and you type in Department of Veterans Affairs, everybody see that? Oh, wait a minute. It's weird because everything is in reverse when you're showing it on this camera. And you type in Department of Veterans Affairs, the app right at the top. Okay. If you can see it, it's right. Man,
And
this
when
is
you
really
go
hard
down
to
to
do.
your profile, at the top it'll show your total disability rating, and then when you click on disability rating, you can scroll through and see all your ratings, which I actually was able to see yesterday without the decision letter. So I knew I had it, I just didn't have the decision letter.
Okay.
So
So yeah.
yeah. And then there's VA letters and documents. You can generate all your letters from there and print them to your printer.
Yeah. So it's in the App Store. We just showed you how to do it, and I'll talk about this maybe in a YouTube video. And let me get to this question, John. Sorry about that, John. What happens during the knee CMP exam and mental health CMP exams? VA made a decision without giving me an exam for mental health, so I decided to have an attorney. Again, whatever you're claiming, where does it fall under service connection? 5 ways of service connection. Just because you claimed it does not mean they're going to automatically give you a CMP exam. How did you claim it? How is it related to service? Okay. Just because you go to the VA hospital and get a diagnosis doesn't mean you can go back on the benefit side and claim it and it's automatically you're going to get a CMP exam. Okay. And if it doesn't fall under the 5 ways of service connection, has nothing to do with your military service, even though you think it may, getting a lawyer is not going to help you. That's just my opinion. And the reason why I say it is because I claimed a condition that had nothing to do with service. I didn't know at the time. And that condition was sleep apnea. Did I have it in service? Yes. But I didn't seek treatment. I didn't complain about it. I didn't get diagnosed or nothing. I didn't even get a CMP exam. They denied it. It's not noted in your service treatment records. And if I'd have went and got a lawyer, still would have got denied. Now, there's other ways that, you could, lay statements and in hopes to get a CMP exam, but then that doctor still has to provide a medical opinion if you've been out of service more than a year. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to say thank you to Demetria for taking the time. We went 34 minutes over. So yes, I am in trouble with my family, but that I'm pretty sure they understand. But I want to thank you for taking the time again to share your story of what you went through with the high-level review, the informal conferences, your trips back and forth between Philly and Newark, New Jersey, with these public contact offices in the regional office. I want to thank everyone that gave super stickers showing the support. If you can't make the roundtable tomorrow, it'll be the third Thursday of every month, 1 to 2 p.m. Next month, I'm going to try to have another guest speaker, and we're going to talk about, she's a mortgage broker, and she wants to come on and talk about VA home loans. Okay, so I'm trying to start adding speakers, but if not, I'll pick a topic and we'll cover it. But it'll be a roundtable because I want to hear from the veterans as well, because we're all live and we can, sort of speak and, just share different things with each other. Okay. What will the new pay for a vet 100% PNT? I don't know. I've seen videos out there where people say, "Oh, we're getting an increase. It's going to be 6%. It's going to be that, whatever." And I just rather not look at that because anything can change between now and then until Congress approves it. And I tell veterans, if you're not even service connected, why even worry about that? You got to worry about the other stuff, the big stuff of getting service connected. But no, I don't know. But you can go out to the compensation rate table. They may have something on there of the new increase. I hear it's a few dollars, but until it's etched in stone, again, something could change. If I didn't get to your question, I do apologize, but I wanted to bring Demetria on to share her story. And again, everybody, please say thank you in the comment section. And maybe I might invite somebody else on to share their story and maybe take some questions as well. So Demetria, stick around. We probably got another 10 minutes because we got some stuff we got to talk about. She like, oh yeah.
Well, yeah, you have to explain what you were telling me before.
Okay, that's fine. All right. So wait a minute. I'll put that up there for you. There you go.
Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope we were able to help you.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody take care. Thank you for sharing again. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. If you didn't, again, we still have some seats in for the Veterans Roundtable. I'm going to be sharing that on my Facebook group tonight and on Facebook. So make sure you get signed up for that. Okay. All right. Thank you. God bless. Take care. Good night.